Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Isoboye Vincent, and today I'm going to talk about variables, values, and data types in C# programming language. This video is for absolute beginners in C# programming. A variable is a value that changes during execution. During execution, I mean when the program is running. For example, you write a code and you want to run your code to see the results of what you have done. That period of running is called execution. Variables are used to store values in programming. Value is that which is stored in a variable. Using that example we used in the previous video where we used user as a variable or username. For example, your name is Daniel. Username equal to Daniel. That Daniel put into that variable is called a value, while the username, that is like a placeholder which can vary depending on the kind of value assigned to it, remains the variable. Variable starts with small letters. When more than a word is used, Camel format is the best practice. For example, when we have first name, last name, and total count. If you look at these words, we have two words joined together. First name, we have the first and the name. When they are joined together, they use the camel format. Of course, you might have seen a camel. You look at a picture of a camel. So this is how we use camel format in a variable. This is a variable and this is a value. This is how it is presented in programming. Normally, the variable is written by the left-hand side. Then you have your equality sign and you put your value. What this means is that take this value and store it in this variable. In this picture, we have an illustration. Variable is like a store box where you store values. It's like you have a box. When you have a box, inside the box you have your belongings. The books inside that box, they are the values of the box, while the box itself is a variable because you can put anything. You can decide to change the box, you can decide to change the books and put your clothes, it remains a variable. So that is an illustration for that. But make sure that the name of a variable explains the kind of value that we give it. For example, if I give a variable name, I'm not going to put a figure like 50. Meanwhile, the variable is name, it doesn't match. Take a look at the example here. We have username. I put my name is Isoboye. Username as a variable. I put my name is Isoboye. We have the height. Height is 5.1. This height is a number variable. And we have female, which is false. The false is a Boolean variable. This is because we have different types of data. All values assigned into a variable follows a data type. It must be in a data type. For example, like the example we used previously, Isoboye is a text, so it falls in the data type or string. We have number which will fall in integer. We have false. False is a Boolean. So this will take us to the next topic we are going to talk about, which is data types. A data type in programming is a classification that specifies which type of value a variable has and what type of mathematical, relational, or logical operations can be applied to it without causing an error. Data type specifies the kind of data that will be stored in a variable. So let's take a look at this example. The string specifies the data type that should be stored in my first name, and the data that should be stored in this my first name should be a text. So that is what it means. That's why you have Isoboye text being stored there. Then int, which represents the integer, also specifies that the data type that should be stored in this number of books, it should be a whole number. So we have 10 here. Then coming to the bool data type, which is the Boolean data type, it says the data type that should be stored in this is male should be either false or true. because Boolean types, we have only two values for Boolean type, either false or true. So having understood this, let us modify our previous example. So in this case, in username, we are going to have string. Then for the height, we are going to have double. Take note, double also is a data type. In our next video, I'm going to give you more details about data types. We have about 7 data types, which I'm going to show you. Then the next here, which is bool, in place of female, we have false. Now we have this bool as a data type for this female, which we assigned in false. Alright, this is our previous Hello C# program. So I'm going to modify this program in order to illustrate the variable, the usage of the variable, and also the data types. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to comment out this line. We are going to use some of the lines of code as illustration. I'm going to type in the illustrations that we need in order to see how it works. It shows error because the values of strings are put inside double quotations. So now the error line is gone. So we have assigned values into these variables. So what we are going to do now, we are going to output the variables to see if these values are stored in these variables, as an example, as we illustrated. Now if you look at these variables, under them you have a green coily lines. It doesn't mean an error. What it means is that these variables have not been used inside the program. When you have a data type, a variable, and you assign a value, it's called declaring a variable. This is also declaring. This one is declaring and assigning a variable at the same time. We can declare a variable without assigning a value. Then later, during the course of the program, we can assign a value. For example, if I say string name, in this case, I declared a variable called name, but I have not assigned any value into it, so it is empty. But in this case now, we declared the variables and also assigned values into them. So we are going to execute the variables. I'm going to duplicate them by clicking on Ctrl D. This is my cursor here and clicking on Ctrl D. So I can copy and paste other variables. So let's run the program and see. The program running gives us the values that we assigned in the variables. The way it runs, it starts from the first point of execution, the first line, which is this console.writeLine, and after executing that, it executes the second line of output and also the third line. So that's why we have this. So it then means that inside this my first name, we stored Isogoyi, and inside number of books, we stored 10, and so on. Now let us change the values of the variables and still see how it's going to output. And I'm going to change the value to 15, or let me say 50. And the Ismail, I can change it to true. So let's run the program again. The values have changed. Next, instead of assigning values directly before we run the program, what I'm going to do now is to show how any user can assign variable into our program. We did that with string. For example, this line we commented, is a way of assigning value from a user. So we are going to do that to that of integer, bool, and also to the string as well. So in that case, this line we commented is going to be useful. So let me copy this and paste here instead of the value. And take note of this, always end up your line of code with a semicolon. Just like in English language, when you're writing and you finished a particular sentence, you keep a full stop. But in programming language, most especially in C#, we use semicolon as our end of line. So for the integer, we are going to use a different way. Instead of just typing console.readLine, for the integer, use convert to toInt32. In bracket, we have console.readLine. Why do we do this? Because by default, the input is always string. What we did here is to convert, instead of taking in string, we now converted the string into integer. So convert.toInt32. We are going to also convert the input in the boolean form here. So we are going to do almost. So now we can run our program, but we need to give the user an instruction to follow so that they will not just type in any value. So what we do, we are going to execute line of instruction. So I'm going to copy from this part and then let me paste it here. Then inside I will put a string sentence. Write your name. Then let me copy and paste here. Saves time. So I'm also going to do the same here. So I can say specify is male, true or false. Let me delete these commented lines of code. We can now run the program. Program runs, showing write your name. Let me write my name. Let me say this time I'm going to write the number of books, 5. Specify true. We can reformat the code for a reader to understand what is being executed. So what I'm going to do here is, after the user input values, I would like a space between the values inputted and the output that we are going to receive. We type console. This console.writeLine represents one line space. So if we want 2 line space or 3 line space, we can duplicate it. But let's give 2 lines of space. Then we are also going to reformat the execution. So in this case, I'm going to put strings alongside with a variable in order to explain more of what we got. So when we execute our code now, it's going to be more readable. So let's execute it. I'm going to rewrite my name. Let me say Victor. Write the number of books in whole number. I can say 7 this time. Specify is male, true or false. True. We now have a space that will make our result readable. Now I have my first name is Victor. Number of books is 7, and his male is true. Look at the results and look at our execution. Look at our line of. So this is how we use variable and also data types in C# programming language. Thanks for watching. If you find this video helpful, click on the like button. And if you have any question or contribution, write your contributions at the comment section. And please subscribe to this channel to see more videos. See you in the next video.